Dude, I'm rocking out, man. Welcome to the family with.
Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk.
Officer Dave.
And Andy Brant Bernard.
What the hell's wrong with you, Josh? You aren't doing any push-ups or sit-ups or anything?
I'm sitting in this nice Airbnb apartment. I'm all set up. I've got Bloomberg TV on. I can look at Super Dave, Andy, and I can't call you Big Tom anymore. I have to call you Little Tom because you've been cutting weight.
Yeah, it's true.
Pumping up again. I'm going to have to set you up with Ken Sherman, and you guys can have a liftoff.
I like Ken anyway. He's a good guy. Yeah, I've got my... And again, I talked about this on social media. I am not pushing myself at all. I'm letting my body decide at what pace it wants to move. And I am up to 3.3 miles an hour, which is... I'd like to...
That's cooking.
That's cooking. So if I can get to like anywhere near 4 miles an hour... You go out for a 1 hour walk in the morning, 1 hour at night, you put in 8 miles. That is a phenomenal workout right there, man.
I walk way too fast.
You do?
I'm a very, very fast walker.
Are you really?
It's a flaw sometimes.
Why?
I wonder if I can find out, like, if I go back to one of our walks in Florida. Let's see. Because it Fitbit shows you walks that you've taken, and it shows you how long that walk took.
Yep.
I'm wondering.
Yeah, with my stride, 4 miles per hour is pretty comfortable.
Oh, I imagine you got a long stride.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is I have really long legs. So
Yep. See, I have very short legs. Like I said, I think I talked about this up yesterday. I'm a monkey. I have got 31-inch legs and 37-inch arms. That's very monkey-like.
That is.
I don't know. Howard Cosell got in trouble for talking about
something
a
like
monkey.
that. Yeah.
He said, look at that little monkey run, which probably wasn't the right thing to be saying, but you know. I have a question for everyone. How much more of this bullshit are we going to put up with? Because I watched just the headlines. I didn't even watch the news. Apparently our buddies from the squad and Ilhan Omar are now saying that we should let up the pressure on Cuba, that the Cuban people are wonderful. They've never done anything wrong with America. They've always treated us well, and we need to back off and support Cuba. Which I've been to Cuba. I liked my trip to Cuba. It's kind of interesting that the people who run the place have the only nice architecture in the entire country. Everything else, it used to be beautiful, but it's falling apart now, except for the area where all the big shots who run the country live. What is with this Ilhan Omar? Is she now an expert on the world? This hunyuk comes out of nowhere, marries her brother to get him into America, accordingly. I got nothing against her, but is she ever going to shut up?
I doubt it. I really doubt it.
No, she's incentivized to be horrible.
Yep.
I
guess
guess
just the dumbest stuff on the planet.
Yep.
It is unbelievable. Well, and the only reason I even brought that up is because last night I was watching the news, and because of the way the things are going with the Biden charges and the Trump charges and blah, blah, blah. A woman came on national TV last night and said, it's all coming apart. America's coming to an end. It's like, would you settle down?
Oh, my goodness.
They've been saying that for, I don't know, 50 years.
They have. You're right. You're right. So
I do not know how old some of these people are. But America coming apart, my goodness. They forget 1968.
Yeah.
They forget, we'll say the peaceful protests throughout downtown Chicago during the convention. And that was not the Republican convention. It was the Democratic convention.
Correct. I do remember that because I was in and out of, matter of fact, I was living in Chicago a couple of days a month, just doing voiceover down there in 68, 69, that whole deal. And what's the name of that park again? Damn it, that's so weird. I can't remember the name of that park. Lincoln Park. It is Lincoln Park, and it was just packed, and people were pissed off, and no one was happy, but everyone had a pocket full of drugs, I will tell you that. They did, I'm not kidding you. It's like, whoa. You're going to make a strong point and you're higher than a kite? I don't know.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I want to run one other thing by you guys before we move on because I made this prediction on the morning show this morning. The number one sleep medication very, very soon is going to be THC. I guarantee it. It just is
Wow.
very, very healthy. There's no question. It not only puts you to sleep, but it's a happy sleep. It's not, you're not going to have nightmares or be uncomfortable or be nervous or any of that stuff. My prediction, I've decided as of today that that THC will be the number one sleep medication in the country very soon. What do you
And
think?
I can't take any of it.
Why not?
I can't have that stuff in my system.
Why not?
No,
Are you kidding me?
he's on duty.
Yeah,
So
but
if I
what about what? It mix okay with all the alcohol in your system. So that's,
Well, we won't. That wears off quicker than the THC.
it
Yeah,
wears
it stays
off.
in the system for like months.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
crazy.
Yep.
It can. You're
I get
absolutely right
I
about
get
that.
randomly tested. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're
It's
just
all
because Super Dave, you are a Olympic athlete. That's why you
Yeah,
get the random
that's
test.
what I
tests.
am. Olympic athlete.
God, we had such a ball this morning because I saw this story when I first got up this morning, and it's hilarious because you watch all these guys that are beating the piss out of store owners and robbing places blind, and they kicking cops in the head while they're on the ground wrestling with
Mhm.
whatever. Did you see that story of the three guys that tried to attack the gym owner?
Yep.
No.
I did. I looked it up when you were talking about it. Yep.
Could you steer Andy toward a picture of this guy with his shirt off? They attacked this guy. I'm like, are you insane? You three punks thought you're going to beat up this guy? His name is Rocco DeStefano or something like that. Somewhere along those lines. He's got
Think
got-
I found it.
there's one with his shirt on and one with his shirt
Yep.
off.
Rocco DiStefano.
Rocco DiStefano.
No.
Josh, wait till you see this picture of this. Three young guys decided they're going to attack this guy and beat him up and rob him. Okay? Is there any way you can pop
He struck back.
Yes, he struck back, as a matter of fact, and beat the piss out of all three of them.
Okay. Did
And by the way-
their mothers come out and file suit against this guy for attacking
Probably
him?
any day now. Now, here's the really bad news for the three young tough guys that like to rob people and beat them up on the street. He not only beat all three of them up, he was holding his dog in one arm while he did it.
Beautiful. The beautiful thing.
Here you go.
Oh my
You're going to
God.
attack. That's the guy you're going to attack, huh? Good job. You ought to see him with his shirt off.
Well,
This
like
guy-
David said many times, if criminals were smart, his job would be a lot harder.
Oh yeah.
That's true. Why would you ever attack a guy that looks like that?
Well, they think, oh, three of us, one of him.
Yeah.
No problem. A lot of people really underestimate how difficult and fast fights go. People that
That's true.
they watch
Yep.
the movies, and in a movie everything's very choreographed. It's all very projected.
And they all take the time to square
And
up.
yep,
and-
they
yep.
it's one guy at a time. There's they're very chivalrous when they're attacking in movies. They don't gang up. But in real life, I mean, even a 3-against-1 fight, if the one guy is trained and the three aren't, he can have them on the ground in 10 seconds.
That's what he
Maybe.
did, Andy. That's exactly what he did with one arm because he's holding his dog in the other arm.
Mhm.
My favorite story of the month.
Yep.
Really is. It's a way
Wow.
to kick off March. Oh, God. Yeah, there's a picture of him when he's got his hair dyed blonde and he doesn't have any shirt on. You ought to see how ripped this guy is. Holy God, is he ripped. Pretty amazing. So what else is going on in the world, fellas?
Long week for me last week.
Why, what's up?
Funerals all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Funerals?
Well, we had the Burnsville officers and firefighter
Right, yeah.
on Wednesday, and then last Friday, the founder of Lima, we had his funeral, and then before that, we had a Minnetonka sergeant passed away from cancer that I worked with quite often. He passed away, and then we had private ceremony for one of the Burnsville officers. So I'm about funeraled out.
I understand we have, obviously, I don't go to funerals. I don't go to weddings or funerals, by the way. Um, but yeah, I lost my last aunt, my last living uncle or aunt, Muriel Barnard, died yesterday, or
Oh.
2 days ago now. Muriel was a wonderful person, just lovely.
How old
And
was
then
she?
she had to be in her early 90s, I would
Yeah,
guess.
good run.
And yeah, she had a really good run, no question. Her husband, Eldon, was one of my favorite guys on earth, too. Just a great guy.
My
But then we,
sympathies.
we lost Richard, too, yesterday. The guy dies, one of my favorite actors. Somebody
I just
told
saw
me,
him on TV. He was on Curb Your Enthusiasm
yeah, correct.
last weekend, and he was talking about his will and leaving
Yes.
money to Larry while they were on
Yep.
the golf course.
Yep. And then he dies a couple of days later. That was or the day that ran, I think, is when he died, when the show actually ran. It's well, I got to be honest with you because I've known him for years and years, Richard. Uh, he went after it pretty hard. I will say that. And Bilski called me last night. Mike Bilski called me last night. He said his last appearance, Richard's last appearance on Curb Your Enthusiasm, apparently he looked terrible. Did
Ooh.
you have that experience?
I was just watching it, and to me, he always looks terrible.
Well, yeah, that's
This guy,
He always looks gaunt.
I saw him live years ago, and the
Mhm.
guy looked like he was on death's doorstep.
Yeah, he always did.
Well, Andy, you've had him in studio a couple of times, so you know exactly what it looks like in person.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I think he was on episode like 40 something,
Yeah, he was in with Ron Rosenbaum just before Ron died. I know that.
and that was a while ago
That
too.
was about 5 years ago, something like that. It was
Oh,
before COVID,
no,
I think.
it's longer than that. It was before I met Melissa, and I've known Melissa
Is it
for
really?
6 years now.
That was that long. Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I can't keep track of that stuff anymore because I thought, yeah, I remember a couple of years ago. You mean 17 years ago?
Yeah, I'm getting there for sure.
Whoops.
Well, yeah, we were just talking on the chat about Joe's excited for the Star Wars Battlefront remake, which I don't expect any of you to know anything about.
I do.
No.
I do.
Oh yeah,
You
Battlefront.
do?
Wow.
Oh yeah. I got kids.
Oh, that's true, I suppose. But
I played that game. Yep.
so it's a
Don't try to
remake.
blame
Of,
it on your kids.
it's a remake of the original Battlefront, and I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, that game came out about 10 years ago. It's old as hell. I looked it up. It came out 20 years ago.
Yep.
I'm like, how in the hell? I was
I know.
17 years old when this game came out.
I
Okay,
know.
who manufactures the game? Is that
Battlefront.
Electronic Arts, Take
I
Two,
think it was EA,
Interactive, or Activision?
Well, EA, I'm pretty sure publishes. Yes, EA publishes, and it's developed by all sorts of different people.
Well, there you go. See, I start thinking in terms of stocks. What does this creation have to do, and how will it benefit the stock of one of the game manufacturers?
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that make. I mean, well, yeah, you must pay attention to a lot of console releases then.
Well, I don't. It's not necessarily I pay attention to them. It's just if I see something, or you hear of something, oh, I better put this information in the back of my mind and start watching a particular company that publishes it, because is it going to be big, and how is it going to affect their sales in the next quarter?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I get accused all the time by my wife, when my wife was alive, and now my significant other, Annie. You only think in terms of money and in terms of stocks. That's all that's on your mind. I said, well, not quite what's on my mind, but yes, that is a significant part of my thinking. How will this affect the market overall? How would it affect any particular company on a day-to-day basis, and even on a longer-term basis? And that's why I'll say that's one of the many inputs that I use in looking at individual companies and the market overall. And that can add to longer term success in investing.
Well, see, there you go. Now I have a question for you. I hear that it's about 2 ticks closer that Peacock is going to buy Paramount.
That could be interesting for the first time in a very long while. The Paramount owners or owner is willing to part with Paramount. Now, Paramount did report their earnings this past week. They did better than expected. So they had more subscribers to Paramount Plus, but they're still having trouble, as is the other media companies. They're all having trouble with subscribers to streaming. The only company that's not having any problem with subscribers is Netflix. So Netflix is still the king, and in my estimation, all of these, I'll say, studios, whether it be NBC and with their Peacock streaming service, whether it's Disney, whether it's Warner Brothers Discovery, whether it's HBO Plus, now called Max Plus, all of these companies were trying to get in on the streaming subscription push that we'll say Netflix started. And they all thought, oh, well, if Netflix has 200 million subscribers,
oh man,
why, we're Disney, and look at all the people that we can get because of our library. So we're going to offer this service. We'll take all the Disney stuff off of Netflix, and we'll charge people to be on Disney Plus, and look at all the extra money we can make. That has not worked out well for Disney or for Paramount or for Peacock or for Warner Brothers Discovery. So, my sense is that these guys got a little bit too greedy, and instead of saying, we're in the business of creating content, and we can sell this to a cable operator or a Netflix, and we can continue to collect money off of that and do very, very well. They decided to go a different way, and all of those stocks have been punished severely. And you've seen a big breakup, we'll say, in the media space, and always the talk of takeovers, which may not happen.
Did you ever think you'd hear that basically NBC is going to buy CBS, though? I never even imagined that as a kid, I'll tell you that.
No.
God.
No. I mean, what is now the next question is, will the FTC allow that merger to take place?
That'd be pretty interesting. When I was a kid, we first got our first television. I was a little boy. I think I was like 4. And actually, that was back in the days. It was ABC, NBC, CBS, and what was it, the Crosby Network, or what the hell was it called? There was one other network. It didn't last very long after the network thing kicked into high gear. But yeah, it was ABC, NBC, CBS, and I can't remember the name of the other one. But I mean, that was all there was. I don't even think there was PBS back
Dumont.
then. Dumont. That's it. You're absolutely right. The Dumont Network.
Yep.
Jackie Gleason, I think, right?
I think so, yeah. Let's see. Dumont Network. Who was on the Dumont Network?
Yep.
Oh,
Whatever.
Cavalcade of Stars. That was done in Dumont.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Dumont go under, Andy? Do they have a?
They only lasted 10 years, not even.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm guessing it just, not a lot of.
No advertisers,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
No,
you
here we
have no
go.
advertisers, no programming, and you have trouble competing
Yep.
with a lot of money from NBC, ABC, and CBS.
Yep.
So in the early days, NBC, CBS, and ABC drew most of their talent from their radio shows.
Oh, makes
Dumont
sense.
didn't have a radio show
Yep.
or a radio station, so they didn't have talent to draw from. All of the good talent was already on those three networks because they were on radio first. So they had to find this new talent to come on, and they basically just couldn't.
Couldn't find enough talent to carry it.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, Dumont basically had Jackie Gleason, who at the time no one knew.
Right.
But I mean, like CBS had Lucille Ball, Jack Benny, Ed Sullivan. NBC had Milton Berle, and Dumont had nothing.
There you go.
And that's what happened to it.
And now they're talking about NBC's buying CBS. I never thought I'd ever hear of the day that CBS might be sold to NBC. That's amazing to me.
I think who was the president who did the trust busting? Because we need to resurrect him.
Yeah, who
Well,
was that?
right now you've got the current president is pushing for a lot of trust busting, and particularly his Federal Trade Commission and the Department of Justice. Both of them were working to, we'll say, prevent monopolies, and make it difficult for companies to combine. The FTC right now said that Albertsons and Kroger,
Right.
which had
there's-
talked about a merger, they
Yep.
said nope, can't do it because that would reduce competition in all the neighborhoods. And I'm thinking, reduce competition. I mean, yes, Albertsons is big on the West Coast. Kroger's big on the East and the Midwest. The combination of the two would enable them to compete better with the largest grocer, which is just that small company called Walmart.
Yeah.
I mean, they are the largest grocer in the country, and then you've got another small grocer, which covers part of the actually they do cover the whole country. There's another small grocer called Target,
Yeah.
but Target is not doing. They don't do as much grocery as Walmart. Then there's another little grocer called Costco.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another small grocer, which has been one of my favorite stocks for 24 years, called Amazon.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Ship it out, baby.
And that doesn't count all the other, small players, that pop up throughout the country. So the merger of Albertson and Kroger, I don't think is going to hurt any competition. I mean, like that's the same excuse that the FTC used to prevent the merger of JetBlue and Spirit, saying that would reduce competition. I'm thinking, I don't think so. You want reducing competition, there'd be a merger if American Airlines merged with United Airlines. Okay, that would
Right.
reduce competition. But merging JetBlue and Spirit, that to me sounds like that sounded like a silly merger, given that while JetBlue has discounted fares, Spirit Airline is, oh, you want a seat? Well, that'll cost you $10. You want
What?
to carry on your gym bag? Well,
Yeah, it's
that's
$100.
$25.
Yeah, exactly.
God, really?
Yeah, you want to use the bathroom? Well,
Yep,
that'll cost you $1 each time you go in.
that's true.
You want the toilet paper? Well, bring your own.
Meanwhile, we went down to Florida for a little bit with one toddler, and in the process, we had to bring about, I think it totaled up to 130 pounds of luggage.
Well,
Traveling
hold
with
on.
a little kid.
When
At
you're
least.
bringing the toddler, you've got to get the car seat on.
Oh no, we had a car
The
seat.
car seat's 130 pounds.
Yeah, they sure are. They're tanks these days. But we had to bring a little travel stroller. I mean, you have to bring all the diapers, all the stuffed animals, the books, the toys, that sort of thing. Diaper
I
bag.
thought you had a well-to-do father and mother, Andy, that would provide all these things so that you could just travel just with a small diaper bag.
No, we don't need to be spending $1,000 on stuff we already own. We could, but nah.
No, not doing it.
Joe
It
says
worked
the
out
toddler,
rather well.
Joe says the toddler doesn't count as luggage, but I disagree. You have to
Yeah,
wheel
there
it
you
through
go.
the airport. You have to carry it through customs.
Yeah,
I mean,
you do. Yep.
only thing you don't do is put it in the overhead compartment.
So does he miss his bop bop?
He does. He misses Jude especially. He keeps talking about Jude.
Jude more than Nana and Bop Bop?
No, he talks about
Whoa.
you all the time, but he also hears your voice all the time.
Or yeah, I suppose that's true.
Melissa listens to the show sometimes in the mornings, and we call you on the phone, that sort of thing.
Bop Bop.
Yep.
He sure did have a great time. That
He
him
sure
going after
did.
me on his bicycle. He kept trying to drive his bicycle right into me. It was
Well,
wonderful.
Told you about how I calmed him down on the descent on our flight.
No.
I showed him the video of himself chasing you.
Oh, I suppose. Yeah, he would love that.
He thought it was the funniest thing he's ever seen. I wonder if he registers that that's him. It's hard to tell sometimes.
With kids that small, I don't know.
I don't know. Does he see like, oh, it's just some kid, chasing Bop Bop
Maybe.
around?
Yeah, maybe.
I wonder.
Although I tell you what, that kid is going to be a big I still do not understand where his muscle structure came from. I mean, it's genetic, obviously, but to be that muscular at 2 years old is weird.
Well, we just measured him again. He's almost 37 inches already, which puts him in the 90-something percentile for height.
Right.
One of these days, I'll be looking up at Ethan.
I
How's
know.
it going?
Wow.
How's it going,
And in
Ethan?
Trump, he's going to be 8 feet tall when he's 15 years old.
I'm not kidding. He's got big
Or
calves.
Barron, right?
Baron.
Barron, yeah.
Bannon is the other guy related to Trump, the guy who looks like he's drunk all the time, right?
Oh, Steve Bannon.
Yeah.
Possibly. There's no question about
Doesn't
it.
he? Let's look at a picture of him. Yes, absolutely.
I'm thinking Race Bannon from Johnny Quest, man.
That's it.
Johnny Quest. That's
Yeah.
going back.
I haven't heard of Johnny Quest in a bit. It's
Oh,
been a few months. Been a few months. So, Josh, what else has happened in the investment world? Simsalabim.
What else is happening in the investment world?
Yes, sir.
Well, we've had the PCE indicator, the personal consumption expenditure indicator that came in this week, and it showed a decline for the 12th consecutive month. So that is considered the Federal Reserve's favorite inflation gauge, and with it trending down, that becomes a reason for the Federal Reserve to not raise interest rates. And there had been talk of the Fed raising interest rates, given them that a week ago, both the CPI, Consumer Price Index, and the Producer Price Index, PPI, came in a little bit hotter than expected, indicating that there's still inflation or a lot of inflation in the system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, a lot of that inflation is in the system is still caused by higher wages, the fact that the CPI and the PPI are backward-looking indicators, and you still had, in terms of the CPI, since about 35% of the CPI is housing prices, and that's
Mm-hmm.
not the price of your house going up, it's the price of mortgages and rents. And mortgages and rents are still up. Why? Interest rates are up. Mortgage interest rates are up. Property taxes are up, and they're both included in your mortgage payment or rent payment.
Right.
So that's one thing that's not going to be coming down. And lastly, the price of gasoline had been going up. But overall, the producer price index has showed for 12 straight months that inflation is coming down, and that is a positive for not raising interest rates, and even at some point cutting interest rates down. Now, a lot of market strategists are still of the belief that the Fed is going to cut interest rates 4 to 5 times yet for the balance of this year. Um, I had said, I'll say late last year when that was talked about, I said I don't think the Fed is going to cut interest rates 3 times, possibly once in May, or we'll say March or May at the earliest, and if not then, it wouldn't be until after the election. And that's also because the economy is still pretty. We'll use a Larry David line. The economy is pretty good.
Pretty. He did used to like go pretty. He did like doing that. That's true.
And not only is the economy pretty good, consumers are still spending money. Now they're spending money not on underwear necessarily. They're spending money on travel. They're spending money on eating out. They're spending money on going to the movies. I did say they're spending money on travel and other leisure pursuits. So we'll say spending money on doing things, not on necessities. So if you're spending money on doing things, that's going to benefit companies like Airbnb. And I happen to be staying in an Airbnb this weekend while I'm visiting my number one son. With my kids, they're numbered. So we
Sure.
have son one, son two, and girl.
And
That's
girl.
not far from how it works at our house too. It's large child, middle child, girl child.
No, there you go.
We had the same deal too, because 7 kids in the family, no doubt about it.
Mm.
Yep.
What are
So
you gonna do?
that way nobody confuses names.
True.
It's I'm sure you might have gone through what I went through when your mother ran down a list of names before she got to you.
Yep. My grandmother she had 7 kids as well. 3 girls, a boy, then 3 more girls.
Wow.
So she would start at the top, the oldest, and work her way down. But then, once the grandkids started to come around, again, she'd start at the oldest and work her way down. So, being the oldest male grandchild, I was always fortunate to be called Dave right away. But,
Mhm.
when she'd start Dave, Paul, Garrick,
Mhm.
Ryan, yeah, blah, 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 down the list.
Can you even imagine having like 40 grandchildren?
No.
Back in the day. Back in
Yeah,
the
that
day.
was very
yeah.
common. But Yeah, that's
Started Catholic
it's
families.
a lot of names to remember.
Well,
There-
yeah, I know. Let's see. My daughter-in-law's parents um, had over 30 grandchildren,
Yep,
Oh.
there you go.
and two of my daughter-in-law's sisters each have 10 children.
Jeez.
Wow.
10 children now?
10 children now.
They must have a lot of money, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, for real.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, I don't think so, but
Getting
I'm
by.
not. I do know that there is some trust money in that family.
Well, there you
But
go.
but that's a lot of kids. But in any case, people are spending money on leisure pursuits, which benefit companies like Airbnb, Verbo,
Right.
which is owned by Expedia. Um, I saw something today about the Taylor Swift economy
Oh, I
has
saw
hit
that.
every town in America.
I saw
So
that. Yep.
the Taylor Swift economy. Well, there's a little company that did report earnings this week called Live Nation, and they
Yep.
own Ticketmaster, and they did very well. Um, and AMC, which was a Mimi stock several years ago, reported that their profits for the last quarter came from two movies:
Oh, I wonder which.
Beyonce's concert movie,
Yep.
and Taylor Swift's New Era concert movie.
God.
And I'm thinking, what about all the other movies that have been out there that supposedly were big? What about Oppenheimer? What about Barbie?
Right.
Nope. Taylor Swift and Beyonce generated more box office than these others, and I'm guessing if I looked at it, it's probably that those two generated more box office than everything else combined.
That's what I understand. That is true, apparently. I don't know. They're having a lot of trouble with the whole Taylor Swift thing. Where is it? In Japan? Something like that? Because everybody else is working it into their economy, but for some reason Japan can't. Or I don't know if it's Japan or Korea or where it is. It's somewhere in the Eastern Hemisphere. I know that.
Well, Korea has a lot riding on their K-pop phenomenon, and
Oh, yeah.
I could see why they wouldn't want a Westerner coming in and running
Right.
in on that market. Because
Right.
K-pop is massive. I think it's on its way out finally because it's been a huge thing for what feels like 10 years now. It's like the boy band craze, that lasted forever. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you added up all the ticket sales of every boy band we had in this country, it has to have been tens of billions of dollars. K-pop is
Yes.
even bigger in Korea than boy bands were here. So
God.
they have a K-pop economy right now.
Well,
It was,
all I will tell you is if you have a stock right now and you're able to mention four letters, AI and TS,
mm-hmm.
you're going to add points to your stock price.
What's TS?
Taylor Swift.
Transubstantiation? Oh,
Taylor Swift, baby.
But you
AI
thought
and Taylor
TS
Swift.
you thought TS was tough shit. No, it's Taylor Swift.
well, how do you introduce that into your port or your stock or whatever it is you said?
The Taylor
Like,
Swift economy?
Like AI, I get it. It's like, oh yeah, we're putting AI in our toaster or whatever dumb crap they do. But like, how do you implement Taylor Swift into your toaster?
Well, because I've got a radio attached to my toaster. When I turn on the radio, I have it tuned to Taylor Swift music, and away I go. Or, if it's favorite Amazon, which is involved with a lot with artificial intelligence and expanding. I have my little Alexa player, and I go, Alexa, I'd like Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
So there it is. So I have Alexa playing Taylor Swift, and then when I can't leave the house, Alexa says, should I turn off Taylor Swift? And do you want Taylor Swift on when you come back?
Oh,
That
there you
Alexa
go.
device has got all kinds of generative artificial intelligence attached to it, and I think that that's only going to grow. So there you go. Or if I'm talking about Live Nation, well, they can figure out what, based on what you've been buying or tickets you've been buying, whether you're going to buy this again. But it is, it's big, Taylor Swift, and that you can look at the attendance figures or the viewership, we'll say, for NFL football this year.
Mm-hmm.
Just huge because of Taylor Swift.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, that's just unbelievable that she drives. I suppose that did happen. That's happened off and on with the Elvis Presleys of the world, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones. It's always been that way, I guess, right?
I'm sure,
I
but
would guess, right?
now you've got a lot more.
Yeah. Yep.
You've got the internet. You have social media out to promote these artists. So
Yeah.
I think it, and a lot of the artists are not doing small venue concerts. They're doing big venue concerts.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does make sense. Andy, I got to run something by you here because
Mm-hmm.
I got back on social media after 12 years, started the Tom Bernard or the Thomas Bernard page, brought it back, but you can only have 5,000 people on there. So Andy and Melissa recommended I get a professional page, which I did. But Andy, this morning, some guys decided that my professional page is operated by a bot, and I don't post anything on there myself. It's all done by bots.
I mean, if they want to have that opinion, then let them.
But I mean, why would they think? I mean, I'm very direct with people when I respond. Why would they think it's a bot? Is it that I guess the only reason I'm asking this question is, does he think it's a bot because are bots that common in running
Well,
those
I mean,
sites?
bot, no, but people say bot to mean thing I don't like on the internet. So
Yeah, that's
what
true.
they're probably trying to say is that it's all made by a social media manager, and that is extremely common. Yes,
Oh, that's extremely common.
I
But
would
I
say-
do I do my own posting though.
I'd say at least 90% of all celebrity accounts online are actually a social media manager pretending to be that celebrity.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on, but I just I have like contests on there. Who's a bigger pain in the ass, Josh or Dave? That was a deal today.
Oh, by
I
the way,
I like that. That's pretty good.
by the way, Josh, I'm the bigger pain, but you're offering Ari last week 50 grand to wear your T-shirt. Where are you going to find a bigger billboard than this for
there
a
you go.
T-shirt?
That's right.
I want my 50K.
I want
Okay.
my 50K.
We're going to have, that is a big. You are a big billboard.
He is, no question.
Say,
What's
It's
that say?
just
American what?
how big is your
Strong,
audience?
American Strong.
I
Yeah.
just figured that Ari going to
What's
the
Tom's
Mall of
audience?
America, walking around the Mall of America. I mean, he was walking around trying to promote his show. So there are a lot of people at the Mall of America.
If you're going to give me $50,000, I'll walk around the Mall of America, man. I got
For
no
50
problem.
grand.
You bet.
Well, that's
Well, you
very
just,
generous of you.
you just modify the Miranda rights.
There you go.
If you don't have a financial advisor, one will be appointed to you.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, thank you very much.
I like it. No
I
question
like
about it.
that. Andy's going to get some money for that little thing.
There you go.
Or
That's my
he'll at least
25 cents.
he'll at least get a gift certificate to go to Cove or Jimmy's or Chowfella.
Yep.
So that's 3 of my favorite restaurants in the Twin Cities.
There you go. That'll work out beautifully. No question about that. I want to ask you guys, because we only got about 10 minutes left in the show. Catherine and I ran across a show last night. Have you ever heard of a show called Tracker? It's about a guy
I saw it advertised.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
It's really good. Very, very good. The guy who stars in it does a terrific job. And it's about a guy that, people call upon him to search their daughter's missing, their son's missing. This is gone, that's gone. Really pretty terrific. I've only seen a couple of episodes so far, but it's a really good show. Have you seen it?
I have not.
No, I just saw it. I saw it advertised.
Are there any new shows you have? Television's the best it's ever been, let's be honest.
Honestly, Tom, for Cheryl and I, it's hockey, or that's really it. I guess we did
That's it.
Picked up the Man in the High Castle. We started watching that. We're about 3 episodes in on season 1.
So you just don't watch a lot of television?
Just not really. No. If we do, we sit down at the end of the day together, and if we want to watch something, we don't invest a whole lot of time in television.
We caught up in the new season of Bluey.
Did you? Good for you.
Bluey.
There
Bluey's
you go.
phenomenal. I love Bluey. Josh, how about you? What do you watch at the house?
Well, it depends on the season.
Of course.
So depending on the sports season, I've got golf on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start watching a lot of baseball at night, and I just spin through the movie channels when I'm not watching Bloomberg TV or CNBC. There we go again. You're watching anything related to the stocks and the economy.
Well, it's your job to do that. I understand why you do
put
that.
the roof over the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
What keeps the roof?
That's it. Well, my significant other's son is a roofer. So, have a problem with the roof? Call him.
There you go.
Well, we'll call him. But no, I don't. I do like to watch a lot of movies, and occasionally some of the series. So we like stuff like Jack Reacher.
Oh, Reacher's really good. That guy, what's his name, Alan Rickman or something like that?
Rickson.
Well,
Rickson.
he looks like Super Dave.
He certainly does. He's about the same size. That's exactly right.
He's smaller than I am.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's a big fella.
He's only 6'2".
Oh, he's only 6'2". Okay.
Only 6'2", only 250 pounds or something.
That's it? That shrimp.
Well, yeah, but his body fat is like what, 3%?
That's about right.
Well, now I'm sad we're never going to get an action series starring Alan Rickman.
Well, you won't.
Old British man.
Yep.
Kicking people through plate glass windows.
What's wrong with that?
That's what I want to see.
Works for me. That's all I'm saying. No, it's interesting here what people like to watch on television, because I always learn, I've picked up on new shows and all the rest of it by asking that question. Television's, I'll say it again, television's the best it's ever been. I mean,
I like the Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there are too many. There are an awful lot of annoying characters on that, but it's like, oh, yeah, I could just see that. There, how could Larry end up with the woman that he's with right now? Very annoying.
Right. Understandable. Now, I do have a question for you. I'm re-referencing a few minutes.
Okay.
So, is your significant other an MOT?
Yes, she is.
The reason I ask you that is I've never heard of a Jewish roofer before. That's the first time. That's the first time. My favorite line on that was in The Sopranos, when Tony Soprano's mother's neighbor, nice Jewish boy, he builds a farm, a horse farm for himself. And Tony comes in. Hey, did you hear about your neighbor? Huh? That's pretty good, huh? She goes, who ever heard of a Jew on a horse? I will never forget that as long as I live. God, that show was good. That show was as good as it ever got, don't you think?
Yep.
Oh, I love that show, and you could,
Oh,
and now you could watch that again and again and again.
oh yes, I have. I've watched the whole thing all over again because I think that show is as good as it gets. Because it's funny, it's very dramatic, it's hideous, it's beautiful, it's all those things.
I mean, you could watch that on any Delta flight, on their entertainment
Yeah.
under
Yep.
series. They'll have several of those, just like they have a lot of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Another
Oh God. Yeah.
series I like
Yes.
that.
Yep. It's good. It's a good show too. No question. You guys been watching the last the latest season of what the hell is it even? Fargo.
I didn't know that was a season.
Yeah, Fargo's at what 5 seasons now? I think it's something like that. Season 4, I loved. Apparently, it was the lowest rated season they ever had, but I loved it. I thought it was terrific. It was like Chris Rock played a gangster in Kansas City, Missouri, and I thought it was terrific. But I guess a lot of people didn't like it. I don't know why not. The new one, I don't think is anywhere near as good. It's good, but it's not as good as season 4. I will tell you that, and that's just my opinion, of course. Whatever. But yeah, those boys, Adam and what are their names? Adam and Joel Cohen. I think
They
that's
got
right.
they got a different way of looking at the world. That's
Yeah, they certainly do. I booked them on the show once, on the KQ Morning Show once, many years ago, and apparently somebody started chirping their ear because they canceled the interview.
boy.
Wow.
Yeah, well, because I have not gone after people hard when they've appeared on the show, but I've asked them, why'd you do that? I didn't think it was that good. I'd be honest with people. So apparently they didn't want me to say things like, season 3 was not that great, but season 4 was really good. Right? I'm not going to lie.
Wow.
I don't like it. I don't like it. So what's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that.
There you
These
go.
are,
Look at all we learned today.
Yeah, like as I've always said, these are my opinions. When it comes to talking about stocks or anything else, these are my opinions. I think when I'm talking about stocks, they're based on my review of the facts.
Yeah.
If I mention something, it might not be suitable for you, and I've got no guarantee that anything that I talk about is going to go up in value.
But let's pay attention to the fact that it's been a couple of weeks now. They are literally saying, and I'm not making this up, they're saying you are not going to be able to make the gains you want without a financial advisor. I've heard that a million times in the last couple of weeks, and I think it is true. So many people, I could never do it. Josh, I could never just go, oh, this stock looks good. Why don't I invest in that? I'd have no chance, right?
Well, probably the simplest thing, and this I will go for a lot of people that put money into their 401ks, and this to me does not make a lot of sense, is they put money in a target fund. So they say, well, I think I'm going to be retiring at this point in time. I'm going to put money in this target mutual fund that says I'm going to be retiring in 2030. I'm going to put the money in this 2030 fund because it's safe. Well, to me, that's just another marketing gimmick more than anything else.
Yeah.
Because first, you might retire in 2030, and the fund is going to set up so that as you get closer to 2030, you're going to have more money in bonds, which move up and down like with interest rates. So you can lose money investing in bonds or bond-related mutual funds, and a smaller amount of money in stocks. So if you retire in 2030 and your money is all in bonds with little chance of appreciation, only getting whatever the interest is at the time, how is that going to provide you enough income to last another 20 plus years of your retirement. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
So the best I have found, on a long-term basis, the best return is to invest in stocks, and primarily growth-oriented stocks. And yes, stocks are going to fluctuate more than bonds, but over a very long period of time, you're going to do a lot better. One example, again, no guarantee of what's going to happen in the future. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. I had lunch yesterday with a very long-term client, and he wanted to thank me for something that I had done for him. And I had thought in 1990 he invested 240,000. He said it wasn't 240; it was only 234,000.
Oh, well.
Okay, I do know that we took out $2,000 a month from that account to supplement his income, because he left one company and went to work for another company that wasn't paying as much. So he had $2,000 a month going into that. And we met yesterday to review the account, and I'm typically meet with him, several times during the year, and I talk with him several more times during the year. Okay, and he said that he figured out that from 1990, he was 49 then, to today, he's 83 today. He has received an income from that account. Okay, he started at 234,000. He's received 1.3 million in income.
Whoa. Whoa.
And the account was still worth $1.3 million. So if you go from 1990 to now, there are an awful lot of ups and downs in the stock market, and some very significant downs. And he kept the money invested through all the ups and downs. There you go. That's real life example of somebody that was investing in stocks and then generating income through a strategy that I learned from John Templeton called a systematic withdrawal, where you're selling a portion of your growth and letting the balance go up and down. So he is probably the best example that I can use for this strategy working to generate income, and using stocks and not a target fund.
There you have it. That is going to do it for another week, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk to you guys next week, though, right?
Yep.
Look forward
Yeah.
to it. Keep up the
All right.
walking.
We'll keep it up. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Got a picture in my pocket, reminds me of this was before. Every time I hear the singing, reminds me how you talking.